for organic chem. No, we create games for higher education, making the theoretical touchable, intuitive, and fun. And we're first starting with organic chemistry. So a year ago at Startup Weekend EDU, we reached out to hear the stories of this tough class with 2 tweets, just 2 tweets. We got video selfies from folks we did not know telling us how organic chemistry had affected them. This course changes lives. It's a critical piece needed to move into careers in science and medicine, yet the fail rate for organic chemistry is over 40%. Career plans derail, confidence decline, and the pieces fall apart. Over and over again, we hear that students say, it feels like a foreign language. Well, how do you best, it's Finnish, I can speak Finnish if you want to know that. How do you best learn a foreign language? In an immersive environment where native speakers correct you as you go. Where do most college students learn organic chemistry? In classrooms that look like this. Now this is a beautiful college lecture hall, but it's really difficult to get to that native speaker at the front of the room. I'd like to welcome you to my classroom. For over 20 years, I've been teaching organic chemistry in class sizes of just 12 to 16 students. I know why students struggle, and I've learned to help them succeed. The key is to have immediate feedback as they make sense of the visual spatial ideas at the core of the course. So how do you scale that kind of learning to students everywhere? Well, Alchemie's answer is game-based learning. Let me give you an overview of our game suite. We have chairs. It's in the market right now. Our proof of concept, it is changing the way kids learn today. Our next game, our big game, is called Cyclo 6. It is turnkey, ready to be developed, and we have it built as an interactive prototype. And our third game, Kairos, is a multiplayer 3-dimensional application that's in the concept stage. So let's look at chairs. This game takes cyclohexane conformers, whoops, dropped it, and turns it into a visual pattern puzzle game. If you want to get that, if you want to download that, text the word CHEM, C-H-E-M, to 555-888, and you'll get download information. This concept is taught at the very beginning of organic chemistry. I see you guys are already doing that, that's awesome. Professors and students have called it addictive and fun. Without any money spent in promotion, just a few tweets and a blog post from the American Association of Chemistry Teachers, we have, as of Tuesday, 4,263 users. Our retention rates beat all the benchmarks for an addictive game, and this is an organic chemistry game. So I'd like to show, these are my students playing the game in my classroom last fall. They got to play a game all class period long. What a great day for them. You also get a great view of my awesome classroom at Detroit Country Day School in Beverly Hills, Michigan. Look at that classroom. I've got 6 hoods. My kids love chemistry. This is Rashab. He was one of the best players of the day, 150 points, which is a rock solid score on chairs. Now, EdTech companies like Alchemie need to have ROI, absolutely, but we really need to have ROE, return on education. So last fall, I divided my students into 2 groups, those who could play the game for homework and those who could not. They then came in and took a 4-point drawing quiz on cyclohexane. Those who had played the game were far more likely to score 3s and 4s on the quiz. I then allowed them to play through the whole entire period, and they took a different quiz. Pretty striking. In the terms of a grade point scale, chairs just turned C's and D's into A's and B's. That's return on education. But chairs, it's a little teeny concept at the beginning of organic chemistry. The big idea in organic chemistry is mechanisms, of course. Most instructors or professors teach organic chemistry through mechanistic thinking. It's the heart of the course. And studies have shown that if you understand mechanisms, you are 10 times more likely to succeed in the course. So for those who don't remember, or those who don't even know what's a mechanism, well, let me show you one. Here I am drawing reactants going to products. That's not the mechanism. The mechanism is the map of the arrows that show the bond-making and bond-breaking events as you take the reactant and go to products. This back of the napkin tool turns organic chemistry from memorizing into intuitive problem solving. It also lends itself to the touch screen. So our big game, the game that will rock the chemistry world, at least in education, is called Cyclo 6. It is the mechanism game, and it spans the entire curriculum into graduate levels. We'll be able to program a different bond field for those H's, those different pKa's. Even the most skeptical professors look at us and say, whoa, can you really do that? They are completely enamored with our tactile learning for chemistry embedded in this game. In this animation, you see one of those puzzles come to life. We have players in game-based learning, it's like playing in a sandbox. They make sense of it. It's not teaching, it's learning. They make mistakes as they go and put the ideas together. We'll be able to build an analytic backend or adaptive backend that will make this game adaptive to the user. The big picture here is that back end. We will take our game concepts from organic chemistry and that back end and apply it to other gateway courses in higher education. Gen Chem, physics, econ, stats. Alchemie is at the forefront of game-based learning in higher education, and we're set to ride the wave of competency-based, adaptive, data-driven education that is sweeping into universities as they have to answer the call for higher retention and increased student outcomes. Our customers initially, of course, will be those 400,000 students in the US, 4 million students worldwide who take organic chemistry every year, spending thousands of dollars in tuition, sometimes multiple times in their quest to pass the class. There's also a strong secondary market in MCAT exam preparation. Our distribution channels are threefold. We will market to those students and their tuition-paying customers. We'll also market to universities. We're creating a dashboard, so our games will be a brand new formative assessment tool. We will also market to publishers and license our games. We presented our ideas at South by Southwest in March. We spoke with 2 publishers, McGraw-Hill Education and W.W. Norton, both of whom said they would license Cyclo 6 when it is built. Our revenue streams mirror our distribution channels and are threefold: direct to students, site license to the universities, and licensing to publishers. We've modeled out our streams. We will release a game, 1 a year, building a model every single year. We will sustain our company with downloads. We'll grow our company with licenses, and the big picture is that data. The Alchemie team, without a team, this would be just a great idea in a classroom. We have over 90 years of experience in our respective fields. Our development partner, Shell Games of Pittsburgh, is ready to develop these games. Jesse Shell is the keynote speaker at the Games for Learning conference just today in New York City, and Alchemie Joe is there right now. We have 9 professors at 8 universities ready to test our games and make them better. Our competitors, well, Khan Academy and iTunes U, great open resources, but still a sage on the stage. There are flashcard apps available using memorization as a learning tool. Tutors are great, really expensive, and publishers have digital content, but you have to buy the textbook. It works. We have made the theoretical touchable. A tactile interface enhances intuition. Intuition comes from making mistakes, and games make mistakes fun. The Alchemie games will help students succeed. So our exit strategy would be either acquisition by a publisher, say McGraw-Hill Education, who is making investments and acquisitions in the adaptive learning space, or PerkinElmer, the maker of ChemDraw. We've been working with them since the very beginning of designing Cyclo 6. They're moving ChemDraw into mobile, and they're looking for ways to get the ChemDraw brand into a bigger, younger audience. Our ask is $500,000, of which most of will go to software development of Cyclo 6. We should be releasing chairs, brand new chairs for the market in September, and we will be bringing in money as of September. I thank you, and I would love to talk to you about Alchemie and how we can partner to open doors in higher education. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Very nice presentation and slides.
Thank you.
The names of the games, have you thought of any names that might be more depicting of what you're doing? I hear chairs, but that doesn't tell me what you do.
Well, I like the chairs is the inside joke, because any organic chemist, when you say chair, they see this. So it's actually, and when students learn chairs in organic chem, they learn chairs because this is what's called a chair.
That's
so it's
that's my ignorance.
Yeah, so it is an inside joke, and organic chemistry professors, as soon as I say I have a game called chairs, they know what it's about. And remember, probably the best way to build our customer base is reaching those professors because they stay every year, and it has not been hard to get professors to say, download this game.
Two other brief questions.
Yep.
The prices, again, you went through that pretty quickly.
The prices of the games?
Who would pay for those and how much? And then the last part of the question is related to the $500,000 you're looking for. What does an investor get?
Okay, the price of the games, and this is where it's hard to make money in games because most kids don't want to pay money for games. So we will always use a freemium model. In fact, chairs, we're going to re-release in October. The learning part of chairs will always be free. So there's no barrier to download. And then the game part, since it's very addictive, they're gonna wanna pay the $2 to play it. And so it will be a freemium model. With Cyclo 6, again, it will be a freemium model. I think we'll take the PKA part of the puzzle game, and that'll be free. And then you can buy packs of puzzles. We can have first semester pack of puzzles, or a bundle of puzzles for second semester, or a University of Michigan puzzle, or a McGraw-Hill Education set of puzzles. We can tune our puzzles to different markets, aiming for 15 to 20 for a total bundle of puzzles. But you always have to do it in micro installments. And what would an investor get? We have access to about up to $250,000 from matching money from the state of Michigan in a convertible note. So if an investor wants to give us $500,000, probably 10 to 20% equity, I'd love to have that conversation and find the value where we're both comfortable. And then we would look at the state of Michigan for the pre-seed fund also.
Other questions?
Yes.
John, okay. Go ahead, Rosemary.
So, this is a great presentation, by the
Okay,
way.
thank you.
What I was wondering is that I see so many entrepreneurs trying to develop games for learning. So what makes your approach unique, and how would you prevent others from essentially trying to develop something similar?
Well,
The chemistry, organic chemistry, right?
there's not very many, and the skill set to have what I know about organic chemistry and my game designer Joe, it is the alchemy. I mean, to have the two of us together. And shell games, the interesting piece about shell games, and Jesse Shell in particular, I've been talking to him. By the way, he wrote the book on game design, literally wrote the book. He and I have been talking about chemistry games for the last year, and he just today, this morning in New York City, presented his chemistry game called Happy Atoms, which is an augmented reality game. So we've been talking about the dearth of chemistry games. There aren't a lot of games, and most of the games out there are targeted to middle school. So we're one of the few companies that are targeting the higher education market, and we're going to be working at the University of Michigan this summer to build the back end and the dashboard, and then look for those other content specialists to start talking about the other higher education games. So there aren't a lot of games designed for higher education. Yes? Well,
I
go, sorry.
also enjoyed your presentation quite a bit. One of the issues for students is time.
Right.
And so there comes this issue of efficiency of learning. I mean, I would like to play with it, I would like to use it, but I need to learn the whole organic chemistry text. me through that process in kind of an organized way so that I learn what I need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is, are you gonna just touch on a few areas? Are you gonna bring me through the whole course? And how does this fit in with what else I need to learn?
Well, the way at least Cyclo 6 works, the way we've designed it, we use all mechanistic thinking. Joe and I went back and forth on whether resonance is a move, and I still say it's not, and he says it is. So what this would be a way to get that instant feedback. The way I teach in my classroom is I present, I go around every single classroom, I watch them draw their mechanisms. As I can tell if their pencil is within 2 millimeters, whether they understand that mechanism. Once they get it, boom, the epiphany happens. So then all of a sudden learning becomes fun. And I love mechanisms. I thought it was awesome once I got it. So it gets to the heart of intuition. Once you start using intuition, time, it's not hard.
So you're gonna kickstart the learning process, but not carry them through the whole course. Is that
Well, I don't know. I think our mechanism game, I've had professors say, oh, my graduate students need that. So, oh, I hear my song. I hear it. Somebody was playing my song. We can actually go through all mechanisms, the Michael edition, all Robinson annulation, everything. We've modeled that out, and we can cover just about everything. We're going to start with just C, H, and O. Fine. That'll get a lot done with C, H, and O, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And then the third game, Kairos, is the chirality game. So then we'll start doing visualization, and it's a multiplayer thing. So it actually gets to, they might play a lot for fun, but they actually learn quickly because they get instant feedback rather than going around trying to make sense of it.
So, again, I really thought your presentation was great, Julie. I mean, and a related question. So these products are not going to be replacements for textbooks. They're going to be things that would be an incremental outlay for a given student. So, in one sense, the market's a little bit constrained there because students don't have a lot of money and textbooks cost
Well, see, that's the thing. Textbooks, they're not selling textbooks very much. You can go and buy used textbooks. You can hack a textbook now. So that's why McGraw-Hill Education is going toward adaptive learning and the Smart Book. And they're one of our potential exits. We've talked to them. Our games are cheap compared to the old model of a $250 textbook.
Yeah, and a sort of related question is, the games that seem to become most popular are those that are really sticky. I mean, you don't just do it once for half an hour, complete it, and then buy another one. There's something that engages you for a protracted period of time in the same game environment. Whereas what you presented here are kind of a set of relatively brief cameos that are all very useful educationally, but you're not going to go back, every day for 2 weeks and redo.
Well, I have to differ. Chairs, we had a group in Nova Scotia. There was one player there that played for 11 and a half hours over a course of a week and a half. They played this sucker over and over and over again. And we have the best game developers in the world working with us. So they would never put out a game that isn't, one, beautiful and isn't too playable. And so Jesse Shell has looked at our designs. They're all on board. They're chomping at the bit to build this thing.
Right.
So it's going to be playable and sticky.
Yeah, right.
Julie, I'm going to interject a question because ACS is a publisher. We're not about textbooks, but we are about chemistry. And I've noticed the industry, after 150 years of publishing, it's very slow to change. And you're talking about a dramatic shift. Are you seeing with our friends at Wiley and others, are you seeing that you're getting receptivity to just hear this out, or is the uptake even more than that? I'm just wondering about how rabid they are for this. given that they sell textbooks?
Oh, they want this. I mean, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Pearson looking for new digital tools, new game-based learning tools for their textbooks because they see their sales declining. These are the kind of things that are in their sweet spot. And with McGraw-Hill Education and adaptive learning, which is really a buzzword in ed tech right now, Newton, Knewton, is the behemoth of big data in education right now. They've raised $95 million. And they are an adaptive learning platform, and they don't make a single thing. They're like Bala. They are data. And so what we're looking at, and we talked to Newton, we're looking at watching kids learn at a very small grain size, and those data algorithms don't exist. That's why we're going to be working with the University of Michigan to figure out how to do that. They want this.
Okay. Questions? John?
Would you consider a couple of other options in terms of developing the business? Would you consider the nonprofit route? Would you consider crowdfunding as a way to raise capital?
One, we should be talking to either Dow Proper or Dow Foundation in the next month or so. And we have to talk about that. And Gates Foundation, if we've got in front of them, they would like that. But both foundations would be able to fund a for-profit. There are rules you have to follow to do that. At this point in time, we thought about nonprofit, but because we certainly aren't making money right now, but we will be. So we've thought about that. And crowdfunding, in August, we should have a Kickstarter for getting ready for the re-release of chairs. And I'm going to put my University of Michigan interns in charge of that. And if we meet our goals, they'll get bonuses. So they're going to be doing that. So definitely, and the Kickstarter is not just for funding, it's for gathering. It's for go-to-market strategy, because then we use that again to have our customer base for the next game. So absolutely, we are planning a Kickstarter, and I've talked to a Kickstarter consulting firm in upstate New York that's been very successful too. Yes, both of those.
Any other questions? Okay, Julia, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken.